You see that image of Krishna with his flute everywhere, right? It's iconic. But what if I told you that simple instrument is hiding a universe of secrets? The truth about the flute he actually played? Well, it's way more complex, and honestly, more magical than you probably ever imagined.
Okay, so let's really get into it. We all recognize that image, right? It's a symbol of divine love, of music. But when we talk about the flute, what are we really talking about? I mean, was it just one single flute? Was it even made of bamboo? The answer, as you're about to find out, is not so simple.
So before we can even touch on Krishna's divine instruments, we've got to get our heads around the earthly version first, because, the traditional Indian bamboo flute, it's not just one thing. It's kind of got this split personality, depending on where you find yourself in India.
Okay, so up in the north, you've got the bansuri. It's typically made from this thin-walled bamboo, which gives it that beautiful, light, airy sound, and it usually has 6 finger holes. But then, if you travel down south, you'll find the Venu. Now, this one's different. It's crafted from a thicker bamboo, it has 8 holes, and it makes this incredibly rich, mellow sound that's just perfect for those complex Carnatic melodies. So right there you have 2 totally distinct flutes, 2 traditions, all from the same amazing instrument.
And get this instrument has an absolutely incredible history. We're talking stretching back thousands of years. I mean, it's mentioned as Nadi in the Rig Veda, which is one of the oldest sacred texts in the entire world. Then it pops up as Venu in the Ramayana. It gets this super detailed breakdown in the Natya Shastra, and by the 13th century, you have texts detailing 14 different kinds of flutes. So yeah, this is clearly not just an instrument. It's right at the core of India's spiritual and cultural DNA.
Okay, so if the human flute is that complex, just imagine what we're about to find when we look at Krishna's. And this is where we hit our first huge surprise. Turns out he didn't have just one flute. Nope, he had a whole collection. You could even call it a divine arsenal. And each one had its own name, its own material, and its own cosmic purpose.
So let's break down his main 3, the ones that show up in the devotional texts. First up, you've got the Venu. This one was tiny, maybe 6 inches long with 6 holes, and its whole purpose was to attract the Gopis. Then there's the Murali, which was much longer, and its sound was said to be just unbelievably enchanting. And finally, you have the Vamsi, a super versatile 15-inch flute with 9 holes that he could use for pretty much any melody he wanted. Each one was a different tool for a different divine job.
But hold on, because he didn't just play bamboo flutes. Not even close. When his flute was made out of brilliant jewels, it had a different name, the Samahini. That means the bewildering one. I mean, can you even imagine a sound that wasn't just music, but sounded like the chime of pure light?
And get this, when his flute was made of pure gold, it was called the Akarshini, which means the magnetic one. Its job was literally to attract and mesmerize all beings. So you see, these weren't just simple tools for making music. They were instruments of pure cosmic power.
All right, so if the flutes themselves were that extraordinary, what about the music that came out of them? Well, let me tell you, it wasn't just music. It was a force of nature, a force that could literally bend the laws of reality.
According to the sacred text, his melodies had some unbelievable power. The first tune he played, it could shatter the deep meditation of gods like Shiva. The second tune, it could actually make the sacred Yamuna river flow backward. His music could literally stop planets in their orbits and even cause stones to melt. This wasn't just a performance. This was the voice of the divine, made into pure sound.
But for all of that incredible, universe-altering power, the flute's music had one purpose that was more intimate, more personal than anything else.
You see, of those 8 cosmic tunes, the final one, the 8th one, was the most sacred of all, and it was reserved for one person, and one person alone, Srimati Radharani. The sound of the flute would actually form her name, calling out to her, a divine summons that only she could hear, one that would compel her to run to his side no matter what.
And this is where the story takes this incredibly emotional and fascinating turn. Because for the Gopis, the cowherd girls who just adored Krishna, the flute wasn't some inanimate object, no. In their eyes, it became a living, breathing thing, and even more than that, a rival for his love.
Just listen to how one of the sacred texts describes this flute. It calls it, and I quote, a very cunning male who drinks again and again the taste of another male's lips. The flute itself is seen as a conscious being, one that's constantly experiencing the nectar of Krishna's lips, which is the exact intimacy the Gopis themselves were desperate for.
And this feeling of divine envy, it's just heartbreaking.
You have the Gopis lamenting, wondering what incredible, auspicious deeds this mere stick of bamboo must have performed in a past life to be so lucky. So for them, the flute wasn't an object at all. It was a soul that had earned the ultimate spiritual prize, constant, intimate contact with the divine.
So, when you pull all of these threads together, it becomes so clear that Krishna's flute is so much more than just a musical instrument. What it really is a symbol. It's the call of the divine, pulling the human soul back home. It's the power of music to just cut through all the noise of the material world. It's a vessel for God's own breath, His love, His life force. And maybe most mysteriously of all, it's this instrument that can take something unconscious, like a piece of bamboo, and make it conscious, completely saturated with divine love.
So, that leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? After everything we've seen, the flutes made of jewels, the melodies that could bend reality, the divine jealousy it inspired, can we honestly call it just an instrument? Or was Krishna's flute something else entirely? Maybe the very breath of God made audible, giving a voice to a love so powerful it could command the entire cosmos.